next week. Well, the Gulf oil disaster is taking a devastating toll on two of the main sources of jobs in southern Louisiana, commercial fishing and the oil industry. And joining me now, Republican Congressman Charles Boustany of Louisiana. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be with you, Tamron.
I know you want this administration to lift that ban on deep water drilling. The president plans to visit Alabama, Louisiana, and Florida next week. Are you trying to make a case to him then, or what is the case that you want even for the public to hear on this?
Well, first of all, this is a tremendous human tragedy, economic, ecological tragedy that we're experiencing in the Gulf. We've got to keep that in mind. And the priorities are to stop the leak and then to contain the oil flow or oil spill and clean it up. But I think it's really not a thoughtful policy to have this sort of a knee-jerk approach to ban deep water and shallow water exploration and production of oil. It's not in the interest of the United States, economic or energy security.
How do you call it knee-jerk on day 51 and you've got an estimated 25,000 barrels still coming from a well? BP says it's capturing, and this is their claim, 15,000 barrels. How is it knee-jerk to say if you can't cap it, you don't have or deserve the right to make money on a well, you cannot cap if it starts to leak?
Because I think that's really not a deliberative way of going about this. Consider the fact that we've got this technology in place in the deep water as well as in shallow water, which is working, and you have to strike the right balance. We're not starting over with this. We understand what the technological limitations are, and the record has been overall very good, except for this incident.
What do you define as the technological limitations, Congressman? What do you call technological limitations? Well, not being able to cap it?
Yeah, I think they're going through the process of trying to get the control on this leak now, and they're making some progress. But we've got a number of other wells that are in deep water all over the world that have worked just fine. And so do you want to really impose a major economic hardship on the state of Louisiana, on our country, and hurt our energy security? I don't think that's the right answer.
Congressman, you point out that there are other deep water wells around the world, but it only takes one to create what we are now calling the worst disaster in this country's history that we've seen as a result of drilling for oil.
Well, again, you have to strike the balance of what our energy needs are for the country and how we deal with this. And I think we're going to learn a lot from this situation with the Deepwater Horizon well. And something went drastically wrong. It is a tragedy. We have to deal with it. So let's get the priorities straight. Let's get this cleaned up. Let's stop the leak. And at the same time, let's have a mindful look at what's needed for our energy security and economic security for this country.
How many jobs do you think are affected by this moratorium when it comes to deep water drilling?
Well, there will clearly be thousands of direct jobs involved in this. Typically, on a deep water well, you could have anywhere from 500 to 1,400 workers. And then you have all the indirect jobs, anywhere from 4 to 6 jobs indirectly associated with this. So, I mean, we're talking about a big economic impact
And
here.
what do you think the economic impact has been since this well has been leaking 51 days? How much money and how many jobs do you think have been affected by that in comparison?
Well, that's what we're trying to get a handle on, and we have to strike the right balance. But I don't think you take a position that really shoots yourself in the foot from economic and energy security as we deal with this. We need to be thoughtful about how we approach this. And so, first of all, with shallow water drilling and production, we've seen all kinds of mixed signals coming out of the Department of Interior, and we need leadership and clarity coming with regard to that. That's a mature technology. And on deep water, those wells have been inspected. They've been carefully looked at and re-looked at. And I think that's an ongoing process. But I think to just have this shut down completely across the board in the Gulf of Mexico makes no sense to me.
All right, Congressman Boustany, it's always a pleasure having you on. I greatly appreciate you coming on and making the case for what you believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamron.
Absolutely. Well, coming up in about 15 minutes from now, we're going to take